Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I'm going to discuss with you everything to know about cassava, how it is produced and how it is processed locally. This is how we can grow cassava, and the cassava it can be intercropped with sweet potato. Also, I'm going to discuss with you how it can be grown and especially weeding process when it can be done, and the two major varieties of cassava. And lastly, I will discuss the processing and why we are processing cassava and the end product of cassava after being processed. Let's get started. Cassava is the second food crop that we are growing in Tanzania. In rank, we are in number 12 in the world. As we know, Nigeria is the first producer of cassava. In Africa, we are in number 6, Tanzania, in producing this cassava. There is a lot kind of variety of cassava. In Tanzania, we have more than 30 variety of cassava. And this cassava you are seeing in front of you, you can see the leaves, they are red. We have only two varieties. The red one, the leaves, this stalk, and I will show you later the one with white stalk. I want to discuss with you. This one, we grow it commercially because this is a very high quality cassava with native starch and also give high quality flour and different domestic use, and also this one is good for export. It takes only 6 months to 9 months to become matured and full harvested. So this is cassava if you want to grow commercially. But in Tanzania, we grow this for food security purpose because they are drought resistant. So because we are growing it for food security, we have like once we plant, we have another one succeeding, and we have someone in the middle, and we have that is ready to harvest. So we have cassava that is matured full term in the year, but they are not planted in one day. So we plant it with interval to ensure that we have cassava in full time, because we are depending full time rain. So this is rain fed cassava, and because they are drought resistance, they are giving us a better option for food security. So there is no time we don't have enough food because of this kind of cassava. And this cassava, they don't grow much tall. It's quite different with the cassava that I will discuss with you later. So we have two major kind of cassava. There is a sweet one that people boil and they eat. They can even eat raw. That cassava, they don't have a lot of poison or cyanide. There is this one we have here. This is a bitter cassava. So this one is for domestic use, but for making ugali or fufu or bakery stuff, or for export, for extracting different products. So this one, guys, you cannot eat because this is fatal. They have deadly chemical composition which can be changed to cyanide, and cyanide kill a lot of people. So when people confuse the sweet cassava instead of this, they will die. So this is how we can grow cassava. So we start in the beginning of the last season of the rain, we plant this, and also it can be intercropped with sweet potato because sweet potato, it act as a good match. So it cover the ridge, so it act as a good match. So give the room for cassava to grow in the first 3 months, because this sweet potato can be harvested after 4 months, and the cassava, it takes 6 to 9 months. So this one, we find it's a good friend. However, it can be challenging to see because both their tubers or the end product are found in roots. So it's not good idea, but because they have different maturity time, that's why this one is the best. So once it is 4 months, we don't want to intercrop with other crop. That's why we are using this one. And you can see this is the sweet potato. There is two varieties. The one with like palm and the one with the broad leaf like this one, sweet potato. So it depends which potato you have. So every kind of potato you have, it can sweet for growing cassava in the first 3 months to 4 months. So this is how we can grow. And the best time to weed, after you plant this cassava, you need to weed in time of dry season, because once you weed, the weeds they will dry and it will give the time or the good space for your cassava to grow, because this is for food security. That's why you see we have the young one and you have somewhere in the middle and we have that is ready for harvesting. So because they are drought resistant, so drought resistant in time of dry, when there is no rain, is the time where you can weed. So you can weed this twice. So once you weed twice, and after that there is no need for you to weed, because that weed would need it to cover, because this place it depends full of rain, and when it's dry, everything is dry. So we need something that it will act like a mulch, so to keep the moisture. That's why I say, guys, I want to convince you to grow this cassava. This cassava, it's called liongo. This is one of variety called liongo. So this cassava, it have deadly poison and it have a lot of starch. It might not be good for commercial, especially for export purpose. So you can see this is the one with the white. This stalk or these leaves, they are white compared to the one I showed before. And this one can go a little bit taller, but it's not like the native variety we used to have. And this one, they have a lot of native starch. So once you had, like, if you're following some news, you will see in the Chinese market, they have some specification what kind of variety they need. So also they limit the starch they need. So you should, if you are doing commercial, you should check those information before going grow any type of cassava. We grow this one because this one is sweet in this environment. This time it's real dry, and you can see cassava, they are green. So that's why we love growing this variety. You can see it can grow even there is some gravels, but it do well. But other varieties, they are struggling. But there is a lot of variety that the tari they are developing, which can help some farmers, not for growing mature or not for maturing area, but also high yield, because we are struggling with the yield per acre. That's why you see like Nigeria is succeeding or is the leading producer of this cassava, because they have the best variety and also they have good agronomic practice than us. So we will need to learn from them. So at this stage, you will stop weeding. That's why I say this one in production is not laborers. At this stage, you can leave the free of weeds. So weeds can also grow, and they won't have effect, because there will be little competition, because the root already developed. You can see the cracks, which showing that the tuber or the cassava, they're already there. So that's why you can see now we are leaving this one matured. So you can see this place is very dry, even the grass, they are suffering. But look the cassava. At this stage, you can harvest no problem. That's why I say it's not laborious. It doesn't need a lot of care like other crops. That's why I convince you to grow this cassava. So once you do first weeding, and some place can do like second weeding. After that, no weeding. So just for you to wait to harvest. So this is the one we already harvested, and we try to peel it. This is how processing can start. So we can peel it here, and if you have like the bigger cassava, you can dissect it, and I'll tell you the reason to dissect it. It's because to let it dried. So because this kind of, they have this kind of fruits, these are euphorbia. So they have kind of fruits which is contain those chemical composition. So that's why we need it to make good size. And this is how we keep this is locally. We are keeping it in the field while we're waiting the transport. We are covering this because we want it to stay fresh. Once it's dry, it will be very difficult for you to peel it out, because peeling is the first process of processing this one. Processing it locally, it's a lot of work. That's why nowadays we thanks there is a lot of machinery that is specializing for making this flour or the end product of this. Once you harvest like this, you take it to the industry or the company and they will start processing because they have long processing line. But for us, we don't have that. We process it locally. We processing it locally because we want to remove the deadly chemical composition that can cause cyanide. That cyanide can kill any more human being if you take in a lot of quantity. So that's why it's processing is very important. I will show you two kind of processing. So once we harvest, you can see they are big enough. Three cassava, they are full in my hand. You can see on my palm, just three. So once we harvest, how this is how we can ship it using motorbike. So if you have another way of shipping, you can use this one. Different way you can ship. So this is how cassava can be harvested. So once it's harvested, we are going to start very cumbersome or very difficult processing. So once you have cassava in your godown where people can start peeling. Peeling is the first process. So I told you I'm going to discuss two processes where you can remove that deadly poisonous cyanide. Once you peel, you need it to soak. So this is the first method. I'll also show you the second method. So once you peel this one, you soak it into water. And you see peeling. Peeling is one of most difficult tasks in processing. That's why some people, they know cassava flour, but they don't know the real process that it takes. This guy, you need to peel one after another, and then you soak it. But with the company or with the machine, you can put all, and then the machine can help to pull and wash. But once you don't have machine, after you peel, you wash and you put it into clean water. After clean water, you let it in direct sunlight where it can gain enough temperature where it can take 7 days to ferment. You ferment because we want to reduce the starch that is inside, and also we want to remove the cyanide. So this is how it can take. In industry, they can cook it. So they can cook for a while, and also they can ferment. After fermenting, they can cook, so to remove this chemical composition. But because we have breast, we have enough sunlight, so sunshine, so we put this on this plastic tank, and then we leave it here for 7 days. It doesn't need to go more than those days, because if the temperature is high, it can take like 5 days or 4 days. So it depends the temperature. And after you drain it, and then after you drain it, you take your cassava, and that cassava will be ready to be dried. If you don't have any means to dry it, you can use the oven. If you don't have oven, you can spread anywhere direct to the sunshine, and that one, once it's dried, you have your product that will be ready. Because we are using rockery, once we dry it, we are sure that we have cassava, and that cassava we can take to milling machine where we can make flour. Once you have your cassava flour, you can make ugali, you can make fufu, you can also make a cake, and also different bakery product that you can get. And cassava are free from gluten. So these are gluten free, and also cassava. So this is good for people with diabetes, and also the starch they have native starch. And also this is how we dry it, because we have very big log. So we are blessed, we have this big log, so we don't have to buy this plastic sheet to dry it or soda something. So we are using our direct sunlight, and then we dry it. And this one, for one, it take 1 day or 2 days to dry it when the sun. So if you it need to dry full dried. After full dried, that's where you can get your full product of cassava. So you can change to make other product. So we are going to the second process. The second process that I said, we in the second process, we want to keep the starch. So we don't want to reduce the starch in it. We want to keep our native starch. So that's why we go another way of processing. So the first one, we peel. Once we peel, we don't wash it. So we dry it to remove this phobia stuff So those are the one they are sticking. So we take it for 8 hours, or if you have enough sunshine, or you can take 2 days if you don't have enough sunshine. Once it dried a bit, not too much dried, because if it's too much dried, it need to have some moisture. And once it have dried for 8 hours a day, you take this one, you pile it in a closed environment, you cover it, because that temperature, we need temperature to rise so that it can kill that chemical composition that cause cyanide. For 7 days or 6 days, it could make the mold like this. Once the mold come out, we know they are ready. So you can wash it direct, or you can wait it dry and then wash with brush. Why we want to wait to wash with brush? Because if you wash direct, after you pick it, it will take a long time for it to dry. So we take our chances, we wait it to dry, and then we will wash it with clean water and a brush to remove this mold. Once we remove, it will go another process of drying, and the drying, it will take short time like this one. So this is how we can process. Processing help to remove starch and also to remove this deadly poison, which is cyanide. Cyanide, it kill people, it kill animal. So guys, this has been it for today. Thank you for watching. See you in another episode. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.